Stampers. This is Marie Bennett at blackberriesandcream.net, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made this birthday card using the new Birthday Fiesta stamp set from Stampin'Up. And in making this card, I think I used almost all new product. So I had a good time. So let's go ahead and get started with this card. In order to make the card, I started with the card base that is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, folded down the middle at 4 1/4. And this is in a color called Peekaboo Peach. And the next layer on the outside of the card, to make this little rug looking thing, I used a piece of designer series paper from a paper set called Festive Birthday. And to get started making the fringe, I used an edge punch, the one that has the hearts. I don't think Stampin' Up! Sells this punch currently, so whatever punch you want to use to make the fringe, all you really need is just something that will punch a hole or a series of holes along the edge. So I punched the heart design, and then to make the fringe I used a new product called solid baker's twine, and I am using the color Elegant Eggplant. I have to be honest, I think it's not quite as dark as our Elegant Eggplant paper, but that's what they're calling this, Elegant Eggplant. And I just pulled some off, maybe a yard or close to that. And then I began just folding it in half. So now I have 4, folded in half again I have 8, and then folded in half again I have 16 pieces. And I think I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 14, but I'm going to cut 16. Just like that. And then on the other end, cut the ones that are looped over. Alright, and then you have just little lengths of baker's twine. So I fold it with the cut ends together and then put the looped end through the heart and pull the loose ends through the loop. Oh, sorry. Like that. And I'm going to want 2 of these in every heart. So one more time, I fold the cut ends together, then put the looped end through the heart and pull the cut ends through the loop. And snug it up. Okay. And then after I get them all in position, I'll take my snips and just trim it off the length I want it to be for a fringe. So when I get all of these pieces of twine in the hearts, I'll be right back. Okay, there you have it. I have put the fringe on both ends of this little blanket. And this piece of designer series paper, I forgot to mention, measures 3 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches long. The next thing I want to do with this is kind of soften it up, because it doesn't lay flat on the card. It kind of has a little dimension to it, and so I want to soften up the fibers just to give it a little bit of a wave. And then I'm going to use glue dots to adhere this to the front of the card at an angle about like that. And I'll put a glue dot at each corner, and I want to have the glue dot attached to not just the paper, but this little dab of twine, because this will fall off. There's no closure to this hole to keep that in place. And so for all 4 corners, I'll have a little glue dot holding that twine in place. Okay, so I got my glue dots on there. Just have to figure out what angle do I want the little carpet at, or shawl, or whatever you want this to be. Okay. On the inside of the card, I have already stamped on Whisper White the greeting, "Wishing you the happiest of birthdays," and then over the top of that I used, where's my stamps? I used this element right here. And so I'm going to adhere this to the inside of the card using, I guess I'll use Fast Fuse. Okay. Now to finish the outside, I have stamped a llama using soft suede on Very Vanilla, and then I think it's a llama, it could be an alpaca, I'm not sure. But on the little blanket on his back, I have stamped a semicircle that is included in this stamp set, a little sunburst design. And now I'm going to take this over to the Big Shot, and I'm going to use the die from the coordinating die set called Fiesta Time, and I'm going to cut this little guy out. I'll be right back. I forgot to mention that the little sunburst is stamped in Peekaboo Peach. Alright, so I'm going to adhere this to the card using glue or dimensionals. And the next element that goes on the card is the greeting, Fiesta like there's no Manana, and it has that same design that's on the inside of the card. It has that glued to the greeting that says Fiesta like there's no Manana. But before I can do that, I need to cut this out, and I'm going to be using a die from the set called Tags and Labels, and I'm going to cut it about like that, and then I'm going to run it through again and cut it about like that, so that I get this design on the top and the bottom, because this set doesn't have a piece that's exactly the size I want for this card. So I'll just run it through twice, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have it cut the way I want it cut, and the next thing to do is, using my paper snips, I'm going to fussy cut around this design that I have stamped. And I used Dapper Denim for the blue part, and I used Dapper Denim on the inside of the card for this also. And then I used the Sweet Sugar Plum and this little solid half circle design, and just stamp that over the back. So when I get this cut out, I'll glue it to my little tag I just made. Then we'll be ready to put it on the card. Okay. So I'm going to use some Tombow glue for this and just kind of put a little, just a little tiny bit on places where I think it'll touch the label. Okay, then I just glue that in place. Not quite centered. There. Alright, now I will use dimensionals to adhere that to the card. I think maybe just kind of right behind him, right there. There. So the card is finished. Fiesta like there's no mañana. Wishing you the happiest of birthdays. I really like this set, and it's going to be one that I use a lot. I really like this little cactus here. And if you go to Pinterest and look for Birthday Fiesta, Google or search Birthday Fiesta, or just look at some of the new cards that Stampin' Up! Demonstrators are putting on Pinterest, you're going to see this stamp set used a lot, and you'll see lots and lots of good ideas. So I highly recommend that this be one of the new stamp sets you get this year, Birthday Fiesta, and the coordinating dies Fiesta Time framelits. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll give this card a try. Happy stampin'. Bye.